Hey everyone, before we begin today's show, I just want to mention I have another YouTube channel under my real name, James DePrima, and soon I'm going to start a panelist show called Making a Movie Night on my other channel. It's going to be a panel of 6 panelists and I, and the premise of the show is 6 panelists and I are going to talk about movies that we love. We're going to discuss them with the panel. The panel is going to weigh in if they've seen it or not. I'll put more details out in another video later, but let's begin with the show.
No, that's not big enough. No, that's not big enough either. That's more like it. We're delighted to have you with us, and we extend a cordial welcome to you. We lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on our giant screen with the new, colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading about. To add to your enjoyment, we're all wound up to pull you over at intermission time with live wire service at our snack bar, where you'll find a tempting variety of favorite foods and beverages. Now it's showtime, folks. And you can be sure it's the best show in town. Your continued patronage is very, very welcome. It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. A juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed. And all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So, stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now. It's time to stretch and bench. See what's cooking at our refreshment counter. You'll find your favorite foods and beverages, plus many new goodies to tempt your appetite and add to your evening's pleasure. Everything's the finest quality. So treat yourself now. Nine minutes to go to showtime. Popcorn, rich with hot melted butter. All kinds of candy. Sparkling soft drinks. Steaming hot coffee. Steamed or grilled hot dogs. Crispy hot fresh French fries. Eight minutes to go to showtime. I'm sorry, sir. This is a private mountain. But I only wanted this mountain is reserved for patrons of drive-in theaters. It's a supply depot for all sorts of good things, which people can get at the snack bar, like soft drinks, hot dogs, good hot coffee, candy bars of all kinds, delicious popcorn, and refreshing ice cream treats. But I am a patron of this drive-in. Well, why didn't you say so? Be our guest. 7 minutes to go to showtime. Hot popcorn. popcorn, just pop. Fresh roasted peanuts. How about a pizza? None better anywhere. Sizzling hamburgers grilled to your taste. We've a large assortment of freshly made sandwiches. Six minutes to go to showtime. Yes, sir. May I help you?
I got 2 of those, please.
Hot dogs? Yes, sir.
And 3 of those. And 1 of those. And 5 bars of beef. And a cup of that nice hot liquid.
Coffee. Coming right up.
Oh, and 2 bags of the peculiar white coffee material.
You mean a crunchy popcorn? Shall I wrap that for you, sir?
Oh, that's all right. I saw Sir Jim's outside.
They come from miles to enjoy our intermission. To go.
Hello there. Just a demonstration of my new invention, the goodies machine. Special for patrons of this time-in, the machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. Und Fleischkränzchen Sodas also. This popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain und buttered. Candy too, crunchy und dandy. Steamy hot coffee und ice cream too. These goodies are in a snack bar just waiting for you. To go to showtime. As everyone knows, rainbows usually have a treasure at the end. Let's follow this one and see if we can find the pot of gold. Then I suppose you've come to claim the treasure.
Well, we'd like to see the gold first.
Isn't that better than gold and yummy yet? No, just look here, no.
Candy, refreshing soft drinks, popcorn, ice cream, piping hot coffee, delicious hot dogs. Well, that's some treasure, but anyone can buy luscious treats like these at the snack bar of their drive-in theater.
You don't tell me. Do you suppose you can get me a job as a snack bar attendant?
The crowds are thinning out of the snack bar, folks, and there are still 3 minutes till showtime. You could easily make it for something that will just hit the spot. How about it? Don't waste a second on refreshment time. You'll find such an appetizing assortment of refreshments at the snack bar, you won't be able to decide what to ask for first. All of your snack bar flavors are there, including fresh peanuts, hot popcorn, and candy of all kinds. And believe us, you've never eaten better hot dogs, best with French fries, or more delicious curry popcorn. Don't take long for a quick refresher before showtime. No hurry to run, just go get it. You'll be sorry you missed your chance to enjoy some of the many tempting goodies waiting for you. Stretch your legs now while the stretching's good. There's still time to get a hot watering hot dog, a sparkling ice cold sugar, assorted flavors of ice cream, all kinds of candy, the most delicious steaming hot coffee you ever drank, and freshly hot popcorn piping up. Make a beeline for the snack bar right now to quench your thirst. One minute left to top off the evening with a treat from our snack bar. Still time if you hurry. Last call for refreshments, folks. Go right this second to get something good to eat and drink to enjoy now or during the rest of the show. The finest quality ingredients are in the mixing to the delicious foods you'll find waiting to tempt your appetite at the snack bar. Extra special good hamburgers, wonderful donuts, ice cold thirst quenching drinks. Pizza generously spiced, steaming hot fresh coffee, ice cream, and many flavors. It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
It's 11:22 a.m. and as the announcer said, it's showtime. And on the second episode of Movie Review Time, we're going to talk about two movies from different spread years. The first movie we're going to talk about is written by Rod Serling. It was a television script. It was a play. It was, of course, a movie, and he won the Pulitzer Prize for the television script. And this is a great film, and I'm not that big on sports movies, even though I love baseball and some sports, but I'm not a huge fan of boxing. I do not understand the terms of boxing. I only understand right hook, left hook. That's about it. But other than that, this film is a great masterpiece of his, and I think he is really known for this next to The Twilight Zone. And of course, this movie is Requiem for a Heavyweight. Now, Requiem for a Heavyweight came out in 1962. It's directed by Ralph Nielsen and was written by Rod Serling. It stars Anthony Quinn as Louis Mountain Rivera, Jackie Gleason as Mash Rednick, Mickey Rooney as Army, and Julie Harris as Grace Miller. And there's a special appearance in this movie by the one and only Cassius Clay himself, Muhammad Ali, in the beginning. So let's talk about Requiem for a Heavyweight. You have to understand something about Rod Serling. If you watch The Twilight Zone, almost every single episode, and if you watch Planet of the Apes, the first one, and if you watch this movie as well, you can tell Rod Serling was very liberal in the 60s. He was for civil rights. If he were alive in the 80s, he would be for pro-gay marriage. If he were alive today, he would stand with people protesting for equality in the LGBTQ plus community. He would be on our side. He was a staunch liberal. He was a Democrat. And Rod Serling was all for civil rights. Like Frank Sinatra, he hated bigotry. He thought bigotry was a cancer to society that would ruin us all. So Rod Serling decided to write a movie or a teleplay called Requiem for a Heavyweight. And this movie is about a boxer named Mountain Rivera, played by Anthony Quinn, who for 17 years has been fighting for a man named Mesh Rednick, played by Jackie Gleason. And Army has been like a father figure to Mountain ever since Jackie Gleason's character signed him on to fight for him. And this movie is a great masterpiece of Rod Serling's, like I already said, because it shows the ugliness of bigotry and hatred towards people who are in rich and who are in white, and it shows the ugliness of bigotry and hatred, and also shows that in order to be in a more perfect society, we need to accept people as people and treat people like people and not tell people what to do just because they work for us. And that's the thing. Jackie Gleason's character acts like Mountain Rivera is his property. And that's the point Rod Serling wanted to get across, was the fact that bigotry solves nothing. It just makes everything worse. And this movie is a great one. I don't want to give that much away. I only gave you the synopsis and the whole idea behind it. Other than that, this movie is a must-see for any Rod Serling fan. But if you don't even like The Twilight Zone or Planet of the Apes, watch this movie, because this shows how much of a humble human being Rod Serling really was. He wasn't conservative during a time when a lot of men were. He was very liberal, and this movie shows it. It's a great film for, like I said, any Rod Serling fan. And even if you're not a Rod Serling fan, watch it. I mean, it's a really beautifully well-written film. It's directed beautifully, and it has a very interesting direction to it in the beginning. And if you're into like the directing styles and all that, watch how it's shot in the very beginning. It's so fascinating. I mean, I was even mind blown because this came out in 1962, and the way the movie was shot is very fascinating. But Requiem for a Heavyweight, it's a must-see for anybody. Anybody that's a human being, of course. If you're a bigot, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. Okay, finally, the next film that I'm going to talk about is a movie that came out in 1997. It stars Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and it was written by the late Carl Sagan, and it has a cast of more to it, including James Woods. Larry King makes an appearance in here. Jay Leno makes an appearance in here. So let's talk about Contact. If you know anything, if you're a religious person or not, if you know anything about Carl Sagan was all about possibility. I'm all about possibility. If you look at my other YouTube videos, I know this is not related on the movie topic, but when I was doing videos about atheism, when I was like talking against like the bad of religion, I said multiple times that there is no God, and I said that foolishly out of anger because I let my feelings get the best of me. But I really shouldn't have let that happen. I describe my atheism differently, and so did Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan and I have the same atheist ideal. We don't believe we don't believe in God. We don't believe in the miracles. We do, however, agree with the message of Jesus Christ that love thy neighbor, help one another out is the best way to save the world. Treat everybody the same. That's exactly the message that Jesus got across. Carl Sagan and I share that same ideal. We don't believe in God, but we love the message of Jesus Christ. So, Carl atheism is the same. It's more of a scientific spiritual atheism, and it's more of a I don't think God exists. Not I know God does exist. I don't think God exists. This is where Carl Sagan and I share an atheism similarity. So with that being said, when I watched this movie, it's Robert Zemeckis did Back to the Future. I'm getting back on topic. I'm sorry I got away from it, but I just wanted to explain that before I got into the movie. Robert Zemeckis directed all 3 Back to the Future films. And in this movie, Carl Sagan written the novel, and it was adapted into the screenplay by a couple of other people, because he died during the filming of this. And this movie's dedicated to him. And it's about a young girl named Ellie who wants to contact life forms out in outer space. Because Carl Sagan always had this ideal that I think everyone shares, is that we cannot be the possible only life forms in the universe. If so, this is a sad existence. So Carl Sagan was always open to the idea that aliens or something else, another life form, another planet, another galaxy, may exist with life on it. So Ellie, played by Jodie Foster, is now all grown up. And after living a hard life, she's now a scientist, and she's doing this project to find other life forms out there. And one of these people that is a part of the project is Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster have this love story going in between them throughout the whole movie. And so, in the beginning, Matthew McConaughey is a religious skeptic. He's religious, but he's not closed-minded to science. Then, in a little extra into the movie, he's now a religious person, but he's still not against science. He's very much for science and technology. And so these two are important, as you'll see in the movie. This movie, though, talks about anybody could be right. My side, the atheist side, could be right, that there could be no afterlife, that there can be no God, or the religious side could be right, after all, and that there is a creator God out there who created all the universes, not just this one. That's the point of this movie. I don't want to give that much away about it. I just want to give you the backstory between the two characters of Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster. It is a very beautifully done CGI film. When CGI was used like for effect only and not for the whole movie, this movie has a little bit of CGI and a lot of practical effects. It's a great film. Carl Sagan, what a beautiful mind he had a beautiful mind to write this book. And I think because of him, I'm back on the track of that, of being open to the possibility that I could be wrong by saying I don't believe in God. And because of him, and because of this movie, and because of my uncle for bringing this up, I thank them, because I really enjoyed this movie. I was glued to it. And I'm normally not a fan of a lot of science fiction films. I like the genre, but I'm not crazy about it. But this isn't a geeky science fiction film. This is a more so an open-minded science fiction film. You have to have an open mind while watching this. And luckily, I do have that. And it did make me think afterwards. So this is what's so great about the movie. It makes people think about the possibilities of the universe and of space and of time and of life. So with that being said, I hope you get to watch Requiem for a Heavyweight, and I hope you get to watch Contact. They are both great films. And it's 11:36. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed your time at the movies.